The Trinity is about how we are as a complete identity of value, how we are simultaneously a semi-nature relationship to the complete identity of space slash exist. The Trinity is about the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost means and affects nature, Jesus Christ, simultaneous nature with Father, the affect nature with the A, as three increasing volumes, as a complete identity of value, as an extent that is further and further unceasingly the creation of more identity nature as positive or negative forever nature, which science reveals is the cause of evolution here as a gaining volume in nature that is positive unto itself always here, or as it forced from here for not being that, as negative value nature, because the perfect value nature progression will only remain this. Semi-natures of itself are coming into itself because they're staying connected as the only bond that is also a progression at the same time. See, the bond to matter, to bodies of value, is only value in relationship, even as nature value, only valuable in relationship to its relationship to the complete identity of space existed as a semi-nature. This is a quality of diffusion life. Now, especially with this is only a quality of diffusion with no criminal foreign influences, especially modern nations with criminally legalized foreign influences. We have Connecticut schools. If you try to report things, see, this is what this is recorded. This is non-distinctly through our nations. If you try to report reality, now that is dealing with people that are over the heads of jobs that are supposed to be relied upon by police forms. They're not going to give up recorded originally in state criminally foreign influence in collusion with other nations there and here, not just policing, but all that tied to that, where the police there and here have arranged manifest where they need to hide line progressions and blame on other things, their own personal, grouped, and progressive lies, physical delusions, and natures. How they're doing this is by pretending people are trying to communicate that they're upset about things. And they're doing that criminally. So they're saying that it's against the law and it's bad for us to defend ourselves from this, because now we have to deal when we have interbranch identity theft acts and with fake news, then we have to counter it to people we also don't know. So Fox CT is with the two Mendez brothers, recorded and confessed with Wethersfield Police, and with in-court, out-court evidence reception racket bodies and trick methods using the courts for crimes with identity thefts, with child sex offender principle, more or worse, tied to him and tied to the courts with the same clicks through time. I just remind. So there is also a with WFSB, other Connecticut media. This is not personal. This is to show, to get you guys in the right track. Even offered to Fox CT, to Fox News, ability to sue their own, because they're not without the IG, because the Attorney General, we're going to need them anyway, because they're using states' attorneys to attach people to fake relationships to themselves and to other people, criminally involved with their roles, recorded with database illusion stack and identity thefts every year with clicks that were connected each age of campus I went to, and with them now recorded with their own kids, interbranch using the principal sex offender and worse still with the school and with the other schools. See, now they've been telling people, because they know that even our own family members, when we're not around them, they don't know our experience. So they're setting up criminal exceptions too. In other words, they're trying to pretend I can't speak. They're trying to pretend they don't understand what I say. They're not letting crime acts told, and they're pretending I'm upset emotionally. In other words, we have physical delusions. If I get mad, not mad, if I raise my voice, because we have people further now. See, now we have other people motivated with Manchester schools. This is intercity. They're also recorded being directed to pretend that they don't realize that we have intercity collusion with officers faking arrests, having stacked databases with courts through time, already with prisons through time, with houses next to the prison offices, with houses and people next to the state judicial branch offices criminally involved. See, this is why they're walking the kids with the news narrative from Milner School, and they say, "Oh, there's drug dealers and stuff like that." Those are the people that they walk there first. These are people with ties to CCSU, criminal justice rackets and rolls, with drugs with the kids, with Maria Fazzino, with crime rolls with CCSU on off campuses, with undercovers. I don't know if that was the extent of it with her relationships with the acting department and with the actors from CCSU. And this is intercity through time, interbranch actors. Subway Vigerio, Jeremy Grohl. I barely know them. They sought me out with other people. Always, all this stuff, and all tied to one house, tied to other people in my area that I never had anything to do with. And all exceptions criminally exploited. With the one family that has the extended family members with fake conversations, fake relationships to me. Their roles with narratives with agencies involved with child sex offenders. People talking to me like pretending they know me online. If a fake conversation with me online, like Kathy Tansey tied to a class family and other Marines with them with identity thefts, and with the DeMauro family, also tied to the extended family members of, especially of Phil Cololo. There's an Anthony Agman. I'm Anthony Wall. This is Romulus Wall, but that's why I didn't have Anthony Wall. There's a golfer. So now that house with the Phil Cololo tied to the forensics people. Also with tied to Lena's Cafe with identity theft clicks. All kinds of tricks where they switch people's names to get us to appear that as if we knew them. And that's also tied to people, a bunch of men that were her past boyfriend and stuff like that with a Magdalena that is tied to a Miss Phillips. That was see, because we had victims as a victim, but then they used as a victim predator tool per Detective Samuda, also recorded and confessed to involved with identity thefts with her, crimes with kids, with sex offender cliques, pretended he arrested me, pretended I had been in the hospital he was in. They're using databases for sick things, boxings. So they don't want to answer the questions because the on-off campuses have been using crime methods, exploiting standing positions with the campuses through time in relationship to their roles with state police, with police forms like with airplanes, with ties to journalism, recorded and confessed involved with Department of Transportation Police, connections with, see, because when they have their crime acts and roles with methods on the campuses bonded, then they have to cover lie progressions for that. And that's how they're being maintained criminally foreign influence. And then they have the shared narratives here or there that they're trying to hide shared policing pro agreements to do that with our stores and with our whole landscape leased out from a tactically denatured relationship to nature since before our founders' births, criminally engineered zoning laws, relationship to an as an organized crime role. I'm not a lawyer, I'm a police form, not criminal. Vaccine, that's everything. Prepare your souls. So these are three natures of volume that are increasing only because only the perfect value nature progression is, and it's as a forever nature. We have an identity nature to understand the identity nature of existence / space. All pace, lost course, returns. Not only do the scientists share an identity, but they share it as a semi-nature relationship to this constantly. Space will continue to demonstrate negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures, like wrongdoers, like predicate acts, like wrongdoing, like associate criminals, natures of criminal enterprise originally in state juxtaposed with states and areas, natures of bonded crime methods, not let countered as mandate and by people maintained victim predator fake convictions that they can't defend without sabotaging and appreciating sabotage correlation in real constitution recorded consciously maintained abridged. They are dishonestly defending their life progression, cover up natures, needs, and roles to do that. They need to hide their natures from correlation's voice. The media, when they're talking about dictator and all the threats and stuff like that, they are consciously recorded, involved with crime roles, preventing free speech. In other words, that's math in relationship to agreements and pathology that is not complete reality. But they're forcing that to be complete reality per roles with the method that caused 99.9% of the crimes engineered to be blamed on others. Evidence reception rackets. So we have the Constitution interpreted honestly is supposed to be rights for the individual first, and then for the group, and then for the species value, but simultaneously in that order, because the identity of space wants it in that order for what causes positive value nature progressions. See, we have faith. Sides, suit and tie nations, counters to it, don't understand. So, where the Son, Jesus Christ, stands for the effects nature, where the Father stands for affect nature, bonded onto that, not just because the bond is valued to see how it's a progression three ways at once. The Trinity, three dimensions in relationship to a value. That is each one at the same time that is gaining through and as that semi-nature, only to be in demonstration of the completely invisible but discernible identity of nature. That is the identity of existence / space. Bonding all finite, active, invisible but still discernible, and progressive values at once. So the Holy Ghost is about how we are as a complete body of nature, with Jesus Christ, with the Father, and with the Holy Ghost being a complete with that, the value with that, but also being a simultaneously semi-nature relationship, the complete identity of space. So we have the cell body, the cell wall, the cell nucleus, the cell body, the cell wall. Now this complete identity further has a semi-nature relationship to the complete identity of the organs, of the person. You see what I'm saying? And that our complete identity is simultaneously a semi-nature relationship to the complete identity of space that is showing there is no semi-nature. This is the bond before, then as the value to the order of all finite. As our order to all active value discernment, fact, nature, quality. That's why the value by nature itself. Progressions, value, physical value, made by the, not just the nature value, but the nature's relationship to itself, which is causing it, semi-causing it, because it's being caused by a little bit more of the semi/complete nature of the identity of existence/space coming in, forcing there be more volume, forever nature, that is positive or negative, and as its complete memory in relationship. So this is per a system that uses internation sciences that it's going to demonstrate negative value nature progressions, criminal insidiousness nature, because even if we all agree to stay as is, so then identity is the last. The 5 pillars, Allah's name, the Trinity, Yin Yang. These were revealed when the sciences and the nations valued areas, states, and nation sciences' ability to control the nature and our relationship to the nature range of positive identity. That is when the ground, in other words, with water, is positive relationship to itself always, even with exceptions. And at the same time as the fact treatment nature. See, humanity has criminal foreign influences since semi-ancient times. It's just remind. So modern nations were taking suit and tie roles, and counters to it, kings as Oz, queens as Oz. There are proofs that when kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species is to teach about value G, to teach about value A through Z, value A being alpha and omega discernment. See, and so in omega, you write the S. Now, see, and then you're almost done making the yin yang, which I'm not sure how many different forms of it there are, but there are proofs that in other words, there are 3. It's a relationship to itself that is active. In other words, it's not. And we're to see this, that how our polarity nature has a positive or negative relationship, not just to our body of value discernment, including with the bond of this and the value of, that's why it's the value of the species bond. It's to see its correlations simultaneously inherent, active, and progressive means, which is ratiocination, which is even pseudo-ratiocination, because that still allows exception nature and the identity that is true only always and as exception nature at the same time to be discerned, because that discerning that and understanding that nature is what it takes to understand how to make evolution, which only uses ground as positive. See, we have tactically, that's how they denatured modern nations in relationship. Simultaneously, they knew no one was realizing, even kings and queens, that and how they realized while they were doing all this, the tactically denatured relationship to the value of the original nature of Campus Martius revealed by natures of nations that were bonded before, and valuing that bond before criminal foreign influence took over each modern nation, and the Campus Martius, they knew that nature itself will continue to demonstrate negative value nature progressions. It would hold up nature's needing and to value and to exploit correlation sabotage and to keep it hurt from positions with the Campus Martius that they knew that they could perpetually maintain motivated for other space maintained means and methods. This is, again, what juxtaposed 99.9% of the crimes with colonization, what really was the cause for witch trials. Yes, the dirty vials. Yeah, way comes clear. So we have the means. We have to just separate all the fact cheaping nature that is not real. Healthcare. So we otherwise you're handing into obviously we're in a fact cheaping nature trap. We have other nations here maintaining the result, fake patriotism natures as victims, but as victim predators, as anticipated the spots, each position, nature, relation. We have breach precedents originally and still, and that was for the machine of a relationship to databases that are live progressions, that are natures that need to hurt and appreciate having her and having had her facilitated her already, each individual grouped together progressively and sequentially. All right. So thank you all for coming out tonight. This is about the Trinity. Yes, it is. Trinity. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. My channel was blocked for like 5 days. I don't know what happened. And then all of a sudden, I had like 600 something. I had for a long time. I had a whole bunch of subs. All my subs gone and went while it was blocked. I came back. There's no more subs on my YouTube channel. Error, edit, and try again. Hey, thank you, people. Thank you for coming out. The species evaluation system. There are ways in me. The way is clear.